Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. As you can probably tell from the title of this video, today I'm going to be talking through this. Now this is something I actually discovered, found it on Amazon, so if you guys are interested after this video and you think it's a good product you want to use, go and check it out on Amazon. I'll put a link in the description below. But it's actually something that when I saw it, I wasn't sure, is it going to be something that actually makes my Glocks better or not? This is the Talon Grips stick-on gun grip. And so this is actually on one of my Glocks here. This is a Glock 45, but as you can probably tell, it's actually got this textured kind of grip on it. This is a standard 45. These are Airsoft, by the way, YouTube, so they're not real. They are branded. These are Umarex Elite Force Glocks, both of them. And so you can see here, Glock Gen 5, this is your standard grip that it comes with. It's great. It's kind of got that texture, which actually does mean in your hand, it's gonna, actually not fall out, which is fantastic. But I would say that it's not perfect. I think it's great because it's obviously polymer, which the whole bottom of the Glock 45 and nearly every Glock actually are. So it's got that kind of not granular, it's got kind of the stippling, which is, not proper stippling, but it does hold in your hand. I actually used to like the Glock 4 and the Glock 4, the Gen 4 and the Gen 3 Glocks, which if you're not aware, because obviously I wasn't until a couple of years ago when I started looking at Airsoft Glocks. Both of those have the kind of indents for the fingers. And I actually originally liked that. I thought, you know what? I think that's a better grip. If it's going to get my fingers locked in there, I like it because I think there's no benefit to not having it. This is a Gen 5. So it's a newer version and they decided to get rid of that. And actually, since I've started using Gen 5s, do prefer not having that finger situation. I don't know why. I do have quite big hands. I actually don't really like the Glock 19, which is the most popular one, because of the fact that it's just too short here. So when I chose a Glock, I decided to go for a 45 because for me the 17's a bit chunky. This effectively gives you the 17 lower and then the 45 barrel length kind of upper. Sorry, the 19 barrel upper, which I really like a lot. So that's all kind of random information that isn't really relevant, but I saw this online and effectively what it's going to do is it's a sticker that's going to go around the actual grip, and so it's going to give you just more of a fine touch grip on the actual Glock itself. I actually have a real 26, which I had fully decked out, stippled. It's got the kind of proper stippling that's been done absolutely correctly. I don't actually like it that much. I think it's better with the 26 especially, which is the very short, small Glock, that it's got more texture on it because it's tiny and I use extended mags with it, but it still can slip around in your hand because it's such a small pistol to get your hands on. So I had it on that, but I actually found when I first started using it, the stippling was so rough that it actually would, obviously this is a real steel, so the recoil is a lot higher, but it would almost rip into the palm of my hand. I know over time that becomes less and less as it gets worn in, but I definitely was expecting to like it a lot more. So when I saw this, I was like, actually, that's kind of in between the two, where you've got a granular kind of feeling on it, and this is what they call it. They call it the Granulate Black. That's the model that there is. There are some other ones you can kind of see here. That's a different version. It's almost a more rubberized kind of feel on that, and that looks like a 26 that's actually on there. So that one, I actually also tried. I didn't like that very much. So if you go on Amazon and you like it after I've installed this and showed you guys what it is like, I don't like this rubberized one. I like the granulated one. And I think it's hard to show on camera, but it really does give you that kind of resistance on your hand. And what I found is when you wear a glove, it's excellent. I don't know how it's going to wear over time. I have used this one quite a lot, and it seems like kind of the day I put it on. But the glove almost just kind of it sticks to the fibers of the glove. So when I'm drawing it out of my holster, it kind of just is it sticks to my hand completely. And I think it looks cool. It kind of takes your standard Glock style, which is very cool looking. And, everyone knows what a Glock looks like. but it does kind of take it to that more, you know, I've customized it, obviously the slide and the RMR SRO sight and the TLR1 probably makes it a lot more customized, but I definitely do like this. It's got holes in it where actually, you know, you get the Glock branding coming through. It's got this like cut through here, so actually it bends onto the actual thumb rest. So I don't know, guys, I'm a big fan of this. So I thought actually in this video, because this is a newer one, the reason I got this actually is that the piston, the nozzle, sorry, broke in this one. So I had to find a new nozzle and I couldn't find one that would not kind of wreck the rest of the Glock internals. If you guys know of one, there are some CNC'd versions which I think are great and I've heard great things, but when they're going up against plastic internals, I've heard that they can kind of wreck the actual rest of the internal of the Glock over time. So I actually just got this because it was cheaper to get it than to order a separate nozzle from abroad and ship it because I couldn't find it from a US retailer. So I bought this, took the actual nozzle out of it, and so I can effectively use this now as a lower to replace anything that I need to. So I thought with this lower, I've actually put a new trigger into it. So as you can see here, that trigger is a lot more pulled back than it normally would be. And if I'll show you, this is probably better to show you this way, but this is the movement on it. It's on the wall and it fires like that. So I'll give you so I like that a lot more. The normal Glock pull is pretty long. So I thought, you know what, I'm going to do this lower and I'm going to kind of show you guys how easy it is to put it on. Obviously I've done this, I think, on 2 pistols before. I've put one on my 17 and a couple of other Glocks that I've had and sold. But the price of this is about $20. It comes in this format. So you can see, you know, it's quite obvious where it's going to go. You can obviously line up your kind of Glock branding just with that there. And that's the back, obviously that's going to be kind of where it goes over the pistol and folds around there. It does also give you kind of a do this step 1, step 2, step 3. And so I apologize if this takes a bit longer than necessary. If you want to, just fast forward this bit of the video. But what I'm going to do is basically put this onto this Glock now. Now, what I would say is you want to, if it's not brand new, wipe this down. And I've just done that before I started the video. But maybe get an alcohol wipe. They actually give you one here, so I'll show you that anyway, just because it's probably more useful for the video. But anything that is like debris, any, you know, things that are sticking to it, definitely make sure that those are removed because it is going to be stuck underneath this sticker, effectively, the adhesive that is going on there. And you obviously do not want something that is going to be doing that. Obviously, if it could cause bumps or raises in the grip, which I don't think is going to be as big a deal, but obviously if the adhesive's not sticking the entire way around, it could start to come up. As you'll probably see when I've done this, the actual stick on it, you know, it actually folds and finishes there. You can kind of see the line here, right there. That has never even come up in any way. And obviously I haven't used this and it's not a real steel Glock, which is going to have a lot more recoil, may have more effect on it, but I haven't had that happen in any way. So it says you can trim this. There are some different versions you can go for. I think this is the full backstrap version, so it kind of has this that raises up. I think you can get a lower one that does that. You can get the ones for the Gen 3s, the Gen 4s, so it has the bands that go along those finger grooves. But it's not what I like to use, as I've kind of said. So, you know, I don't know. You guys may like that style of Glock a lot more, so they do make them for that. I think I used the rubberized version with that one. And so I'm just going to make sure we get this right. Okay, clean it, align wrap, removing with it, start to align the grip from the front, E, and bottom F of the factory pistol grip. So E and F is going to be this short side here. So what I'm going to do is basically line this up on the Glock branding. And I'll try and do this quickly, guys, without ruining your day by taking too long. But what I found is kind of good with this is I'll almost like half peel it back. I won't fully take it off because obviously you're not wanting to touch the adhesive too much and take the stickiness away from it. But if you kind of take it back that much, I'll just make sure this is dry from all of that alcohol. And it's got the gap here, which is going to go around the mag release. So that is looking pretty good. Because the mag release is square, you know, or kind of rectangular, you can kind of get an idea of, when you're lining up this Glock branding here, you can kind of get an idea of the border that you're putting around it and actually kind of where the positioning is. As well as that, you have this this open serration here, which I'll show you. So you can see there, I've kind of got the edging of that, which is kind of evenly spaced around. And obviously that is pretty easy to line up because it is the same shape exactly as that Glock symbol. And then it's got this serration here, which is going to bend because you've got the ridge there where your thumb sits on the actual replica. So I normally actually, I think, would remove the top slide for this. However, I know that YouTube can be quite, I don't want to say annoying, but they can be so particular with when you disassemble and put together anything that looks like a firearm. So I'm worried that if I take the slide off, as I usually would, just because you're going to get more dexterity, that they would block or demonetize the video. And obviously I don't want that to happen. So I'm going to leave it on for this one, and hopefully that doesn't affect the video. As you can see here, I'm just kind of folding these round now. One thing you will need for this, which I'm probably not going to show you on this video, but what you will need afterwards is a heat gun. Now these are very cheap as well. You know, this is $20 from Amazon. A heat gun, I think you can pick up for 20, 30, depending on the quality of it. And I would say it's worthwhile having in your airsoft kind of gear if you are going to be doing anything, you know, in terms of changing the replicas that you have. One thing I find it very useful for, especially with this, is removing the orange tip. These can be a bit of a nightmare to get off sometimes. And so just by heating that orange tip and then trying to remove it that way, it makes it for me a lot easier. They seem to kind of like Loctite that thing in as strong as they can. So you can kind of pull this up and readjust it. You know, if I've not got that quite right, I can readjust it there. But what you're going to need the heat gun for afterwards is you're going to need to use it to almost just like tighten, kind of shrink wrap almost this onto the pistol, the replica. It's got a little logo here, which I'll show you there. This little T that's there for Talon, I presume it would be why. But as you can see, it's got the serration on the other side as well. It's obviously got another gap for the mag release so that it can actually come out through the other side and release the mag. And sometimes you will find you kind of get some ridges that kind of appear with that. You know, like it's not fully sat. I think actually I've done a pretty good job on this one, but you may see there's a little raised area there. I wouldn't worry too much about that. The reason being is that when you use the heat gun that actually goes onto this, it does effectively kind of shrink the fit of the adhesive. And so it almost just eliminates a lot of those. Now with the end here, what I try and do is just line this up. I think when I've made posts of this before, when I've kind of showed people that I like having this on my Glock, I get a lot of comments, which is like, oh, you know, you should try stippling, it's way better. And I reply to those comments. Sorry, I've actually done that wrong. I reply to those comments and I say, you know what, I've tried stippling and stippling is great, but it's not really for me. What you're actually going to do here is I was kind of showing you actually folding it over, but what actually I believe you do, and I should double check this, is you're going to pull this up, this bit which you've kind of placed originally. You're going to fold this down and round, and I need to make sure that's lined. And then you're almost just going to fold this piece over the top, the original bit that you put in. So you want to make sure that you get that fully down and secured. And as I said, I mean, like, you don't want to touch the adhesive too much, but it doesn't seem like this adhesive takes it off. And what I really like on this seam is you can probably tell even before I heat gunned it, it's kind of very, very, you know, it's hard to tell unless you're really looking for it. You can see here, how it's not fully kind of seated, or it's not positioned itself, maybe a little bit here as well. But as I said, as soon as you get the heat gun onto it, it's going to shrink wrap it effectively onto the actual pistol. And as you can see, like this one I've used a lot, and it's maybe a little bit of a grayer color. but it really has not changed it that much. And so this, I mean, you could use it like this if you wanted to. And what I would do is go around and just kind of compress all these different areas, you know, go along this ridge, make sure it's down there. But as I said, you want to get the heat gun and you're going to put it on a fairly low setting, and you're just going to slowly move it back and forward across the actual grip. You can find videos of how to do that as well on YouTube, I'm sure. And it basically will slowly, you'll just kind of see the actual ridges kind of contract and go onto there. You want to go along this seam, because obviously then you're going to see it, you know, you're actually going to kind of probably seal it a lot better than it is. I shouldn't be pointing this to my face really. Even though it's airsoft, there is no gas mag in it, so it's not going to do anything. And there is nothing no BBs in that chamber either. So that's kind of my review of this, guys. I mean, if you want to look at it again, it's talongrips.com is their website. You know, they say here, enhanced performance, improved comfort, increased safety, quick and easy installation, 1 to 3 years plus, and boost confidence. I don't really know what boost confidence means, but this one specifically, which is the Granulate Black, this is the full back strap for the 45, the 17, 19X, 22, 24, 31, 34, 35, 37, and 47, because they're all the same grip effectively, or same size grip. So you can get this one grip and it will fit all of those different replicas or real steel, if that's what you're really looking for. But I really highly recommend it. Every friend or player that I've shown it to or has picked up the actual replica has said, I really like this, what is it? So I thought, as I've had one arrive and as I really like it and it's a product that I recommend, I've got no association with the company. They've done nothing in terms of send it to me. I paid for this myself, very happy to do that. It's $20 really to, I think, turn your standard Glock into something that looks a lot cooler and is actually a lot more functional. Like I'll try and show you here, like my hand, if it's on there, is not slipping off. It's a really like solid feel where you can't even really twist the pistol in your hand. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope it is of some value to you because I'm going to try and do a lot more reviews, but I thought that's kind of a different product. It's not strictly airsoft and you can put it onto Glocks, which actually most people have, to be honest. Nearly everyone I know, which people think are sad and people think is not great, but I love them. Was not a Glock guy, turned into a Glock guy, as most people will say. But I think that would be an interesting thing to look at. If you like this style of video, please leave a comment and let me know that, because I've got some other different things, bags actually, which I use now, gun bags to carry my replicas. And I found a new brand of that, which I'm absolutely obsessed with. Chest rigs. That's one right now that I've just found, which I'm buying absolutely everything from their website. So I'm going to try and do a video on that. But if you enjoyed this, guys, please give it a thumbs up. If you want to subscribe, I'd really appreciate it. And have a fantastic day wherever you are. Goodbye.